Welcome to this explainer. Look, we all absolutely adore our dogs and cats, right? They're literally family. We cuddle them, we play with them, and naturally, we kind of want to share everything with them, including whatever we're eating. But today, we are getting into the full picture of hidden kitchen toxins, because the terrifying reality is that sharing our seemingly harmless food with our pets can actually be deadly. We're going to break down the full science of why this happens and, absolutely crucial, how to stop it.
Okay, let's dive into this. Are you accidentally poisoning your furry best friend? I know, it's a super heavy question. But the truth is, some of the most common foods just sitting right there on our dining tables or hanging out in our kitchen cabinets contain major hidden dangers. We're talking about toxins that our human bodies process without even a second thought, but that can cause catastrophic damage to our pets. By the end of this explainer, you're going to have a completely new perspective on what's safe and what is an absolute hazard in your home.
Here's the roadmap for today. First, hidden dangers in your kitchen. Second, sweet treats with deadly consequences. Third, savory scraps to avoid. Fourth, surprising everyday toxic foods. And finally, number 5, how to keep pets safe. Let's kick things off with Section 1, hidden dangers in your kitchen. We really need to start seeing human food through the lens of pet safety.
So here is the absolute fundamental rule we have to remember. What is healthy or harmless for us can be a deadly toxin for them. Our pets' bodies simply cannot process the same chemical compounds that ours can. So we really have to stop viewing our pantries from just a human perspective. You know, that innocent-looking box of treats on the counter or the leftover dinner simmering on the stove. We need to start looking at those everyday items as potential threats. It's really all about shifting our mindset to protect our fur babies.
Moving right along to Section 2, Sweet Treats, Deadly Consequences. These are those innocent-looking snacks that cause sudden failure.
Now, what's really interesting here is the most well-known hazard, chocolate. We all kind of know it's bad, right? But the actual science behind the danger is fascinating. It is not just the sugar. It's a chemical compound called theobromine, along with caffeine. Dogs and cats literally lack the enzymes to break these compounds down. When they eat them, especially in things like dark chocolate and baking chocolate where it's super concentrated, the results are absolutely devastating. Even a tiny piece can cause vomiting, diarrhea, a dangerously rapid heartbeat, seizures, and yeah, in the worst cases, death. So never, ever share your chocolate with them.
Next up is xylitol. And wow, this artificial sweetener is a total master of disguise. It hides in sugar-free gum, candies, human toothpaste, and incredibly, even in certain brands of peanut butter that people literally use to stuff dog toys. Xylitol is ridiculously poisonous to pets. Just a tiny, tiny bite is enough to cause a sudden catastrophic drop in their blood sugar, which leads straight to immediate liver damage, violent seizures, and frequently death. You absolutely have to read the labels on literally anything sweet you bring into the house.
To round out our sweet threats, we really have to talk about grapes and raisins. I mean, we think of them as these healthy, perfectly natural human snacks, but for dogs and cats, they are terrifyingly toxic. The hidden danger here is acute kidney failure. And honestly, the scariest part about grapes and raisins is that just 1 or 2 single pieces can cause sudden damage to their kidneys. And the kicker? You won't even see the effects right away. By the time they start vomiting or, stop peeing, it might already be way too late to reverse the failure.
Let's move to Section 3 and see how this builds. Savory scraps to avoid. Here's why sharing dinner leftovers is a really bad idea.
A huge hazard to watch out for right after dinner is cooked bones. Now, while raw bones that are specifically designed for pets are generally fine, cooking a bone completely changes its molecular structure. It becomes super hard and incredibly brittle, so when your pet chomps down on it, it splinters, kind of like glass. These sharp splinters can easily cut their throat, pierce their stomach, or puncture their intestines, causing severe internal bleeding. It is literally an immediate life-threatening hazard.
We also desperately need to watch out for onions, garlic, and chives. And listen, it doesn't matter what form they are in, raw, cooked, powdered in a spice rub, or mixed into a casserole, they are all toxic. These alliums contain compounds that literally destroy your pet's red blood cells, which leads to severe anemia. Now, cats are extra sensitive to this. They might not show symptoms right away, but eventually they're going to become incredibly weak. Their gums will turn super pale, and they will seriously struggle to breathe because their blood just can't carry oxygen properly. So the crucial point here brings us to high-fat foods and fat trimmings. Giving your dog or cat leftover greasy meat, fried food, or, that piece of chicken skin seems like a nice little treat, right? Well, doing so actually risks triggering pancreatitis.
It's so important to understand what this is. It's a very painful, serious, and potentially fatal inflammation of the pancreas, caused by a sudden influx of way too much fat. Their digestive systems simply aren't built to handle that kind of rich, greasy load. And if it's not treated immediately by a vet, it can absolutely kill your pet.
All right, let's transition into Section 4, surprising everyday toxic foods. These are the daily staples that absolutely wreak havoc on pet digestion.
This brings us to a huge misconception: dairy products. While we humans can easily process lactose, the vast majority of adult dogs and cats are completely lactose intolerant. Their bodies simply don't produce enough of the enzyme lactase to digest milk and milk products properly. We all have this classic cartoon image of a cat lapping up a little saucer of milk, but the reality? Giving them milk, cheese, or ice cream is really just going to give them a horribly upset stomach, terrible gas, bloating, and diarrhea.
Another massive favorite on modern human menus is avocado. Now, avocado is a serious double threat. First off, it contains a chemical called pursin, which is highly toxic to dogs and cats and causes severe vomiting and diarrhea. But secondly, that giant seed right in the middle is a massive choking hazard. If they swallow it, it can completely block their intestinal tract, which means emergency surgery. So definitely keep the guacamole away from the dog.
Rounding out our everyday toxins, we have alcohol, caffeine, and raw yeasto. Believe it or not, even a tiny amount of coffee, tea, energy drinks, wine, or desserts baked with alcohol hits a pet's system vastly faster than a human's. It causes rapid intoxication, violent tremors, seizures, and even death. And finally, if you bake bread at home, never ever let them eat the raw dough. The warm environment of their stomach makes the yeast continue to expand, causing dangerous bloating that can physically twist their internal organs. And even wilder, as the yeast ferments inside them, it actually produces alcohol, quite literally poisoning them from the inside out.
So what do we do with all this information? That brings us to our final section, Section 5, how to keep pets safe and the immediate action you need to take for accidental ingestion.
Look, the absolute best medicine here is prevention. Our fur babies completely rely on us to keep them safe and healthy. They don't know any better, right? They just smell something tasty and go for it. It is 100% our responsibility to keep these 10 foods: chocolate, xylitol, grapes, cooked bones, onions, fat trimmings, dairy, avocado, alcohol and caffeine, and raw dough far, far away from the edge of the counter and securely locked away in pantries.
But, hey, accidents happen. If your pet does get into something, here is your emergency protocol. Step 1, quickly identify exactly what they ate and how much. Step 2, and guys, this is the absolutely critical one. Do not wait for symptoms to appear. As we learned with things like grapes and onions, if you wait until they look sick, the irreversible organ damage has already happened. Step 3, bring them to the vet right away. It's better to be safe than sorry every single time. Give your clinic a call while you're on the way so they can prep for you.
I really want to leave you with this thought. Next time you reach for a snack, will you look at it through your pet's eyes? Will you see a tasty treat or a hidden toxin? Armed with the full knowledge from this explainer, you now have the power to protect your furry best friend from these hidden household dangers. Keep your guard up, keep those pantries closed, and thank you so much for joining me today to learn how to keep our pets safe, healthy, and thriving. See you next time.